kept you floating underneath that breeze we heard. I don't wanna wait till the morning.
Hi! Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for coming. It's dark, I can't see none of y'all, but it's cool. Welcome to Talking to Myself. Wow, I've been planning this event since August. Mark will tell you I came to him with an idea and was like, I want to host a TED Talk, but I can't really get on a TED Talk right now, so we're gonna make it work. And we made it work, so yes, I'm very excited. I'm just overjoyed at the outcome right now. I was a little surprised, but I'm really excited to have you guys here. Thank you for all being interested in something that I'm really passionate about, and just for supporting me, because it means a lot to me to know that you guys support me. So yeah, we're just gonna get started in the night. I know a lot of people are kind of confused on what this really is. It's not a conference. It's just a night. It's a night. It's an event. It's an event. We're going to talk about mental health. We're going to talk about mental health. We have some really amazing speakers here to talk about different forms of mental health and just, share their stories with us of how they've gone through stuff and overcome it. We're going to get some tangible advice on how to deal with certain things and how to prevent going through situations. We're going to see some awesome dance performances from my two little sisters, Sydney and Spencer, who are about to come up. And then we will also have live art from my good friend, Christine. She's going to be painting the whole night. So as the night progresses, glance over at what she's working on and just see how talented she is, because she's amazing. But yeah, we're going to get right started with this dance. I'm just gonna put a little disclaimer out there. The dance is a little dark, so if you feel the need to step out, just be mindful of people around you as you do so. But I'd like to welcome up Sydney and Spencer dancing to My Body is a Cage.
My body is a cage that keeps me from dancing with the one I love, but my mind holds the key. My body is a cage that keeps me from dancing with the one I love, but my mind holds the key. I'm standing on the stage of fear and self-doubt. It's a hollow play, but they'll clap anyway. My body is a cage that keeps me from dancing with the one I love, but my mind holds the key. Standing next to me, my mind holds the key. I'm living in an age that calls
Hey, I've been with them in rehearsals with the dance, and that was just the best thing I've ever seen. Um, Thank you guys for dancing. I appreciate that. Those are my two little sisters, and I love them so much. But yeah, I wanted them to dance to that song so badly because it just really represents identity to me. When I hear that song, I think of, being trapped in your own mind and being kind of like a slave to yourself and to your own mental state and not being able to get out of that, and like just having moments where it's like, I just can't get out of my own head, which is kind of the embodiment of the whole night. But we're going to move right along and go into our first speaker. We are hearing from Miss Amber Riley tonight. Amber is best known for her voice, but tonight she's not going to sing. She's going to share a very personal story that she's never shared with anyone. She thought that tonight would be the best time to open up about her journey, and I'm so grateful that she thought that this space would be safe enough for her to speak and to just pour her heart out and share what she has coming up. So I would like everyone to give a warm welcome to Miss Amber Riley.
What's up, everybody? Oh, it sticks. This is fancy. I thought it was upside down. All right, like I was introduced, I am Amber Riley. I'm a member here as Hope's House. We're a gang, just so tell everybody, tell all your friends. I am also an entertainer. You may know me from a TV show called Glee that I did years ago. Okay, some of y'all know what it is. All right. Whew, it could have been silent after that. That would have been embarrassing. But honestly, I wanted to tell my story, and I didn't want to tell it on social media or some, interview, because I just didn't want it to come off disingenuous. I didn't want it to come off as attention-seeking. And I actually saw Lauryn post this, and when I was just sitting in church, I just instantly felt like this is where I'm supposed to share my story. And so I walked up to her and I asked her if I could be a part of it, and she was gracious enough to say yes. So thank you so much for letting me unburden myself and use my gift and the purpose that God put inside of me to speak to people. Because speaking ain't my thing, singing is. But I'm going to do it. So my story is I am overcoming depression and anxiety. I say overcoming because it does not define who I am. It does not control who I am, but it's just a part of my story. When I was younger, I had really low self-esteem. I didn't like myself. I didn't like what I saw when I looked in the mirror. I didn't feel like there was much value past me being an entertainer, because that is the only time that I felt like I was ever praised or ever got a compliment or ever validated when I was singing. And I never really saw anyone on TV or in magazines that looked like me, that were being praised for their beauty. I wasn't chased by the boys, okay? My milkshake wasn't bringing them to the yard when I was younger. And I know that can sound a little bit shallow, but as a kid, you don't know how to really find acceptance on the inside. We don't know how to be introspective, and validation is very important as an adolescent. So I just ignored what I looked like and completely just ignored all of my image and identity issues, and I focused on singing, dancing, making people laugh, and entertaining. And years of that growing up got me my first job, my first big break, which was on Glee. And that was a whirlwind in itself. I went from obscurity, living in a smaller house with my mom and my sister and having to borrow cars and all that kind of stuff, to being on private jets, staying in nice hotels. I bought a nice little whip. I was able to shop when I wanted to. That was just a major thing for me, because I love clothes and I love shoes. And I was just thrust into this lifestyle. But little did I know I was also going to be thrust into being this body positive example for all of these people. I was going to be thrust into being a role model. And that wasn't something that I was ready for. Because, like I said, I spent my whole life avoiding looking in the mirror. I spent my whole life avoiding, paying attention to my exterior. And so, whatever interview that I got, it was always about my body. It was always about my size. So I was forced to give answers to questions that the world wanted to hear. I never got the opportunity and the chance to really figure out what I felt about me. I was defined by everybody else. Um, and so the TV show ended, got canceled. Don't cry for me though. Doing pretty good. And I wanted to be a solo artist. So I got a record deal. And that record deal basically was dependent on who they wanted me to be as an artist. And you can look at me and tell what they wanted. They wanted me to yell and scream on a microphone and talk about being left back and how lonely I was and sad. And, I was really proud of myself for walking away from that deal because music is so important to me. And I knew that if I would have taken on what they wanted, it would have created another identity issue for me. And that's the one time that I took a step for myself that I'm really proud of. I also lost a very huge platform where I was being, validated for my talent. I'm not on TV anymore. People aren't sending me tweets anymore about how good I sang Whitney Houston this week. And so it was a down spiral, and I kind of gave up on that music thing, and I said, well, I'm just gonna go back to what I know. I'm gonna go back to acting. That's one thing that I still have. They may not want to hear my solo music, but I can go back to acting, and I did. I still worked as an actor. I did The Wiz on NBC. I played Ada Pearl, the feel-good girl. I won Dancing with the Stars. Um, I played Effie White in London. I was the first Effie White that they had in London in Dreamgirls. I won an Olivier for that, and that's the equivalent of a Tony. Um, I did a movie with Tiffany Haddish, Whoopi Goldberg, Tika Sumpter, Chris Rock, and Tyler Perry wrote and directed it. And I did it all with anxiety, and I did it all anxious. And because I could never fully enjoy it, I knew that it was success. I knew that these were steps being taken forward in my career. But I just, there was just something missing and gnawing at me. And at first, anxiety can be functional. Depression can be functional. That's why you can't judge a book by its cover. And that's why you can't judge an entertainer by their talent. Because you never know what it is that they're going through on the inside. So the last couple of years were amazing, guys, for me. It was financially and career-wise, but I just was not happy. And it's because I let that anxiousness go untreated for so long. And the symptoms started becoming more evident. And they even became physical. I found myself not looking in the mirror more and more. And when I did, I was crying. I had really bad heart palpitations to the point where it felt like I was having a stroke. And I was going to, the ER because I didn't really understand what was happening. I wasn't sleeping. My room was messy, horrible. I wish I had a picture to show you guys because it was completely indicative of what was going on in my mind. I stopped working out. I was terrified to leave my home for weeks. Agoraphobia is very real because I suffered a panic attack publicly. And worst of all, I isolated myself from the people that loved me. I stopped going to church. I stopped answering phone calls. I stopped hanging out with my friends. I stopped letting people come over. And that just wasn't me. And I fell silent. And I stayed silent for a couple of reasons. I stay silent because of pride. I stay silent because of the fear of what people would think. I mean, I'm funny Amber. You know, I make people laugh. I make people happy. I lead worship on Sunday sometimes. How can I be depressed? How can I have anxiety? I was completely in denial. Completely in denial. I had my own judgments about what mental health issues were. It sounded hopeless to me. Like I couldn't get out of it if I admitted it. And I couldn't admit to myself that I was not well, because admitting to myself that I wasn't well felt like admitting that I didn't have faith. And I feel like a lot of people that are believers believe that. And let me tell you something, that's a lie. Because we can deal with things in the physical and we can deal with things in the spiritual. And that's what I've learned, to marry both. And that is the best combination. So I came to the conclusion that I needed help by a pretty little lady named Tiny Riley, who is my mother. And she sat on my bed. She rubbed my back. And, you know, she said with that sweet voice, if you ever heard my mom speak, she got a really sweet voice, but don't let that sweet voice fool you. She said, "Baby, I think you're depressed." And, of course, from daughter to mother, I had to get an attitude and be like, "I am not depressed. I just got a migraine. Of course, I'm not hop, skipping, and jumping all around here, and I don't have joy because my head hurt. Why would I be happy because I got a migraine and my head hurt?" And I went through all of that only to 2 days later be crying in her lap talking about, "Oh, no, I'm depressed. I just need help." And so the journey began. I saw a psychiatrist. As you know, psychiatrists, they specialize in medicine. And, you know, whether or not you choose to take that step is your business. My only advice is, if you are going to choose to use medication, see a psychiatrist. Do not get medication from a doctor. Psychiatrists specialize in medication. Don't just let a doctor give you some pills and say, "Here, go be happy." And if you're going to do that, you also need to be in therapy, which I am finally in therapy and letting somebody tell me what to do. Ooh, Jesus. Somebody better shout on that one. I am doing what they call cognitive behavioral therapy. And I don't know if you guys know, but we have about 60,000 to 80,000 thoughts in our minds every single day. And most of those thoughts are the same thoughts, ruminating over and over and over. And I've been having the same thoughts that were negative about myself, ruminating over and over and over. And so with cognitive behavioral therapy, what I'm learning is to challenge those thoughts. Because if I get the thought and it makes me anxious, it's probably a lie, and I need to challenge that. Because my brain is filtering things in a negative way. It's been doing it for so long that it's automatic at this point. So I have to challenge thoughts and figure out if they're real or if they're not. And if they are real, I can reconceptualize that thought and give it a different ending. And that's why I'm up here right now, because I've reconceptualized the thought of anxiety and depression, and I have a different ending. But my life, you know, it isn't perfect. I'm still in the thick of it. I'm in the middle of it. And I do have setbacks, and I do want to share some ways to help with setbacks. How am I doing on time? Just tell me if I'm almost done. I'm like halfway through. Okay. I want you guys to say this with me. My therapist gave me these 5 pillars, and I think that they are so important. Say exercise, intake, hygiene, sleep, social. So these 5 pillars basically, when I'm feeling a little bit off, I make sure that I look at these 5 pillars and see, am I exercising? And that doesn't even mean getting a personal trainer or going super hard in the gym. It can be getting out of the house and just walking around in nature. You know, it can be doing squats and sit-ups during commercials while you're watching, I don't know, Real Housewives of Atlanta or whatever it is everybody watches. It can be just, you know, walking your dog, going outside in the backyard and doing a couple of rounds. Your intake, paying attention to the things that we eat. I've changed my diet significantly. I found out that meat is not good for me in my digestive system, and it actually does make my anxiety worse. Um, so watch what you're eating and how you feel after you eat it. Hygiene, obviously taking a shower. That was one thing that I tried to avoid when I was going through my depression, but my mama wasn't having that. Get up, at least take a shower and get back into bed. But you ain't about to sleep in the sheets like this. Um, it wasn't happening. I'm 34. My mom still scares me. And sleep. Make sure that you're getting enough sleep. And I know that that's really hard for parents to hear because y'all got kids, and I know parents don't really sleep. But try to find a way or a time, get a babysitter, just to try and get some sleep, because my not sleeping made my anxiety even worse. And social. That doesn't mean going to a big event. I am not a big event type of chick. That means one-on-one. That can be one-on-one interaction with another person, because scientifically, we actually need each other, and spiritually, we actually need each other. So that can just be going to coffee with a friend or having them come over and you guys watch a movie. Um, I want to give encouragement. Oh, I also meditate and I pray and read my word and I worship every single day. That is something that I've learned that is really important that I was slacking on. And I give God my time every morning, 30 minutes to an hour. It's the first thing that I do when I wake up. Because what I know is the delivering and healing power of Jesus Christ. And guess what, black people? You can praise Jesus and go to therapy. That's a word. It's tweetable. I know that this is going to sound weird, but I'm glad I went through this because it made me stronger. It brought me closer to God. It helped me recognize that there were a lot of things that I was suppressing and hiding and I had bottled up in the inside that I refused to deal with. But now it's all here in my face. Every single thought that was trying to hide in my subconscious, it's here in my face, and I get to deal with it, and that's a blessing. It's been amazing material for my EP coming out this spring. Shameless plug. Finally got that done. And, it's preparing me for my future because now I feel like I can handle absolutely anything. So, in front of you, you are seeing a new Amber Riley. I just met her a couple of months ago myself. So I would like to say hello. For I have been crucified with Christ, and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. The life I now live in the body, I live by faith in the Son of God who loved me and gave himself for me. I have new vision. I have new purpose. And I hope when you think of me that you know that you can be an overcomer, because I ain't special. None of what I went through is special. It's just a fact of life. And I hope that you know that you're stronger than you think, that you're deserving of love. And because, like I said before, anxiety and depression or any mental illness, it doesn't define you. It's just a part of your story. You can get through it. I'm living proof. Thank you so much.